Hey guys, good morning. Flamengo greetings. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you're just arriving, I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below, turn on notifications by clicking the bell, and leave that awesome like on the video. We're here with a lot of information about Mengo for you. And remember, you can get products from YouTube shopping. Man, there's Zico's jersey, the Goalkeepers jersey, several goalkeeper jerseys. There's Faruza and many other retro jerseys too. And also the current official ones, which you can get on YouTube shopping. It really helps Flamengo and it also helps our channel. So I want to invite you to attend Flamengo's games to support Mengao. In this year of 2026, we're going to win something important or maybe a few important things. That's why you can travel with Arudo's caravan. If you're anywhere in Brazil, you can come to Rio de Janeiro with Arudo's caravan, with local assistance and a ticket included, okay? At Mengo's games in the Libertadores, Copa do Brasil, and Brasileirão, we're also here to remind you that you can attend Flamengo's games, even outside Brazil, Cusco, Medellin, and also Buenos Aires, okay? For the 3 games outside Brazil, you can secure your spot with Caravana do Arrudo, which has been taking Mengao fans around the world since 1981 with a lot of quality and no complaints. Look, we're going to get right to it and bring you some important information. Julia Calabria, she interviewed Julio César, the former Flamengo goalkeeper. He talked about the Hugo Souza situation, and a lot of people, a lot of Corinthians fans attacked me when I said that Fabio, Leo Jardim, and some other goalkeepers it had nothing to do with prejudice, nothing at all. Dida is one of the greatest goalkeepers ever. His being black isn't relevant. People overreact. You can't express your opinion just because the guy is black or say he's worse than others. That has nothing to do with it. If it were like that, right, we have man, for God's sake, right, man, for God's sake. Look, I've even praised Andrew, even though he hasn't had many opportunities at Flamengo. I've praised him, man. It's crazy. Julio César shared an opinion much like mine on the Ju Calabria page. Let's check it out.
César, I want to hear from Julio here, who is missing from the call-up list, this last list.
Right.
No, it's just curiosity. I want to know, it's the last call-up list before the World Cup, right? So who do you think was missing from this list?
Look, I'll be very honest, okay? I haven't seen the list, honestly, but I heard Neymar wasn't called up. That's a fact, right? Yeah. Now the buzz is whether this Ancelotti will take Neymar to
the World Cup.
I think that Neymar should go, right? He has nothing left to prove, right? I think that regardless of whether it was the last 2 call-ups, yeah, I think that Neymar he didn't need to be in these last 2 call-ups maybe to be called up for the final list. I think Neymar is Neymar. He's our star. He's our number 10. He's our genius. So I think Ancelotti he's really considering taking him, I believe, and that the home field advantage will matter a lot too, right? I hope Neymar will be at the World Cup.
As for goalkeeper, do you think anyone was missing? Is there anyone you take?
I think Allison and Ederson are 2 names that are pretty much guaranteed, right? I think, yeah. They're on the outside looking in like Hugo Souza, John, even Bento, who was just called up now, if I'm not mistaken, and Gabriel Brazão.
Many people mentioned Fabio from Fluminense.
I think it would be I won't say as a tribute, but guys, I think that he would be called up for the way he's playing. I think Fabio, at 45 years old, regardless of his age, I think he's doing a fantastic job.
He's the best in Brazil. Rossi says that
to be on the list, whether as the first and second or third choice goalkeeper.
That's it. Even as first choice, man.
I think that Brazil, in a way, every World Cup, I think Brazil goes in as one of the favorites, right? Without Neymar or with Neymar, I think the Brazilian team has big names, players who are established in Europe, a coach now.
Quite the interview, huh, Julia? So,
I think Brazil's coming in really strong.
So, let's go. Thanks, Julia. Appreciate it, okay? The Botafogo fan, Julia Calabria, almost a reporter for the Paparazzo channel. She sent us the collab. Really appreciate Ju Calabria's support, right? If you can, go follow her there. Yeah. I'm going to look at that. It's Ju Calabria, okay? I Ju Calabria on Insta. She's awesome, man. She's awesome. We have here, man, Ancelotti is amazed by Leo Pereira. The footage shows that, okay? Leo Pereira, he might be a starter. Marquinhos, he didn't join the practice. And there are only a few practices left before the game against France. There's not much time left before the game against France. And this is the image that went viral, man. This is the image that went viral. And Ancelotti is amazed by Leo Pereira. Okay, guys, amazed. That's the news we're getting, okay? Our defensive leader is in Carlo Ancelotti's good graces. And Marquinhos didn't train. Leo Pereira could be a starter against France because he really earned his spot, guys. He earned his spot. And if the PSG defender isn't available for Thursday's friendly, the coach will only have Bremer, Leo Pereira, and Banhas as options in defense. It's worth remembering that Gabriel Magalhães was cut due to injury, just like the left-back Alexandre, okay? Besides that, Ancelotti could have more problems because of Milito's injury. Danilo is expected to start at right-back. Danilo hasn't played that position since he was at Juventus. At Flamengo, he only plays as a center-back. Ancelotti likes to use Danilo at right-back. The coach will also play the friendly against France with his backup goalkeeper Edison, since Alisson was also cut due to injury. At left-back, the problem is Douglas Santos, who will only have one training session with the national team because of the logistical difficulties in leaving Russia, okay? This training session could decide whether Leo Pereira starts. Look, we had Diego Alves praising Agustin Rossi. I told you guys that Rossi praises Fabio as the best in Brazil, but Rossi today, in my opinion, should also be the goalkeeper for Argentina, right? He should be called up for Argentina. That's a fact, right? There's no doubt, right? He deserved it too, right? Diego Alves said the following: Rossi is definitely already an idol. He's a goalkeeper who has made history for everything he's done in competitions, for the importance he has, and for what he represents. Besides the titles, the connection with the fans is fundamental. And he conveys all of that to establish himself as an idol. It's nice that Diego Alves talked about this issue. Look, we're going to talk about the transfer market. Flamengo is in the market, right? And they're going to have to look for players. I asked a question here after this news about Gonzalo Plata, which came out on UOL. I asked a question here to a club official, and I took the opportunity to bring up the situation with Salah as well, right? Because Flamengo fans reacted to TNT's posts from Kaze TV, everyone saying that Salah is becoming a free agent on the market. So I took the opportunity to connect the two things and asked sources connected to Flamengo's board about it. The news I brought about Salah being a free agent on the market, right, which became a topic, was widely discussed. A lot of people saying, Salah or Luis Enrique? You guys really went overboard. Man, it wasn't us, okay? The Salah thing was a possibility posted by those accounts, okay? People are saying the guy makes 1.6 million euros a month. It's impossible for Flamengo to want to pay that salary. No, unless he wants to take a pay cut, right, guys? But there's also this. He would come for free. People aren't getting this. Look, I'm going to do a quick calculation here. I think it's an option. You know, people are laughing about Plata leaving. I'm going to talk about all of this here. Why this Salah situation isn't so impossible, okay? And I got an answer from this source within the board, okay? Let's go. You're saying he earns, let's say he agrees to earn 1.5 million euros a month at Flamengo, okay? Let's put a 2-year contract times 24. 36 million euros, okay? He's a free agent. He's a free agent. Did you guys get it? It spreads out the amount you'd spend to sign him. You spread it out over the length of the contract. You turn to the guy and say, look, I was going to spend about 25 million euros to sign you. The other 11 million I'll spread out over the contract. So it's possible, okay? Signing Salah is financially possible. It's not impossible. The salary of 1.6 million, 1 million. No, forget about that. The player is becoming a free agent. The question is, physically, will he be able to handle it? Does he want to come to Brazil? Is he interested? Why? The answer we got, okay, from a source close to the board when I asked Plata with this new problem, right? The leaked screenshot, the whole situation that happened, and even some exposure involving the squad, which I'm going to talk about now. Plata might have to be transferred, and we're going to need to sign someone else. Then he said, we're going to evaluate Salah's situation. It's not impossible, we'll evaluate. Then I said, do you think it's a good idea? Let's see how things stand. Yeah, we have to refresh the roster, especially with these situations that have come up. Look at this. So Flamengo is going to try to sign him. Obviously, is it very difficult? It's very difficult. And then I asked another source, let me ask you, I heard it's possible. Then the person said, I don't have that information. So I said, but that's okay. Even though it's expensive, considering the salary he has. This person answered me exactly what I was telling you. If he's a free agent, it's less of an issue since you can spread the cost over the contract's length. So, and it would still be cheaper than Paquetá. Was it very expensive? Yes, it was very expensive. And there's also the matter of Salah's age, right, guys? For God's sake, right? Now, this isn't something made up by a Flamengo YouTuber, no. That came out on TNT TV, on the main news outlets, saying that he's going to be free, and they put Flamengo as a possible main destination. We checked, and at Flamengo, no one denied it. They said it's possible. It is possible, yes. It will be evaluated. Flamengo isn't already interested. It will be assessed first. Okay, so look, Salah, yeah, he's 33 years old. It would be his last contract. The age Jorginho came at and still had a lot to give. The Prince of Egypt still has a lot to give. 33 years old, he comes, a 2-year contract. So what? Even if it seems impossible, many said Flamengo couldn't sign Paquetá, and many people say it will be impossible to sign Vini Jr. down the road, but Flamengo will sign him too. Well, we're going to bring some important news here too. Flamengo has approved the new sponsorship, but now we're going to talk about the Gonzalo Plata situation, okay? According to journalist Bruno Braz from UOL, Gonzalo Plata's lateness to Flamengo training sessions have started to bother the squad. Yesterday, we shared the screenshot that upset the coaching staff, with him admitting he doesn't know what he's saying. Now, Bruno Braz from UOL reports that Plata's lateness to Flamengo training sessions have started to bother even the squad. Initially, these delays were seen as something quirky, but it's not funny anymore. To quote someone from within the squad, it's making the players uncomfortable at the Ninho do Urubu training center. During turbulent times and crises, Plata was one of the most criticized in the Flamengo locker room, okay? Some even say that Plata's behavior got worse after coach Felipe Luiz left. Leonardo Jardim historically has very little or no tolerance for cases of indiscipline, okay? So zero tolerance from Leonardo Jardim, right? With Gonzalo Plata, or with players who aren't committed, right? Who don't take seriously the fact that they're elite athletes. By the way, guys, I got a message here a while ago from Plata. When Flamengo was eliminated, no, it wasn't eliminated. When Flamengo lost in a crucial game, man. Flamengo lost an important game. So we had, this was last year, okay? End of last year. Then Gonzalo Plata, he had a party, something like that. I criticized him. I went hard on him. Some people attacked me, while others came and said that they passed along some messages to me. Later, I understood that this person had heard and actually wanted the best for me. They were just warning me that the guys were complaining about me and all that. And Plata himself sent me a message on Instagram saying, I thought you were our friend. Friend? Listen, let me just tell you something. I love Flamengo. If you're not committed to Flamengo, it's over for you, okay? And apparently, thank God, Leonardo Jardim also has a very low tolerance. Zero tolerance for lack of commitment. That's very important, thank God. Look, Flamengo's deliberative council approved on Tuesday night the Chinese automaker Gakimoto as the new sponsor for the club's uniform. The sponsorship will be displayed on the game shorts as well as the team's training and pre-game shirts. The contract is valid for 3 years until 2029 with a value of 12.5 million per year. We're talking about a 37.5 million reais contract. The company will also be present on the club's official bus, on the interview and press conference backdrop, as well as possible vehicle displays around Maracanã on game days, okay? Gaki motor vehicles around the stadium. At Ninho do Urubu, GAC will have 4 permanent advertising boards, while at Gavia there will be 2. During the Brasileiro matches, the automaker will have 1 minute of exposure on LED boards per game and 4 appearances on the Maracanã big screens. So, we're bringing this information. It came out on GE, but we also found out yesterday it was already a bit late when we brought it to you. Check this out. So we have some more important information to share here. We already talked about the transfer market with the departure, right, with Plata possibly being sold. Flamengo will look to sign a replacement. In fact, they will sign new players. So we were discussing the transfer market. It's important for us to talk about the news that came out yesterday about the 26-year-old left-back Matias Bidu and not Breno Bidon, right? Breno Bidon, actually, it's Matias Bidu. So let's talk about Matias Bidu here. A lot of people thought Flamengo was going to sign Breno Bidon, but it's Matias Bidu. Flamengo actually tried, right? So that's the information from SCCP News. Flamengo inquired about the situation of the left back, and the club from São Paulo, however, is not interested in negotiating at the moment, okay? He came up through the youth system at Portuguesa, played for Guarani and Cruzeiro, played 16 games this season, scored 1 goal and provided 2 assists, and was on the field in 6 games where Corinthians didn't concede any goals, okay? Yeah. Flamengo dreams of having Corinthians' greatness according to their fans. Isn't that crazy? Corinthians has already signed Hugo Souza, Gustavo Henrique, Mateuzinho. There are more too. Always signing players from Flamengo, right? Always. Renato Augusto, Marcelinho, they were always signing players from Flamengo. History always shows Corinthians signing players from Flamengo. Are you crazy, man? Now, Flamengo has an important piece of news here is that Flamengo is in the market, okay? This makes it clear that Flamengo is in the market. Fans are saying Luciano Juba is much better, okay? It's better to buy Cuiabana. He won't leave Vasco. People are saying he's got grit. Getting paid on time, that's it. He must be wanting to get paid on time, right? Kaique Bruno from Cruzeiro is better. Cruzeiro won't agree to negotiate with Flamengo over a player, okay? But a lot of people are saying Juba is 1,000 times better. That Bidu guy, you can keep him. You can keep talking about Cuiabana staying. But one thing is certain. Flamengo is in the market and is trying to sign a left back. Because Alexandro ended up getting injured, right? We're going to talk about that. Estimated until he was dropped from the Brazilian national team and will use the international break to recover. But Alexandro's injury is considered minor. But since he's getting older and this could be Alexandro's last year, Flamengo needs to look for a left back, okay? So, he had a problem in the back of his right thigh during the draw with Corinthians on Sunday. But he shouldn't miss too many games. He should be ready to play soon. The injury is grade 1 and he should be cleared to play in the cup opener. Libertadores, okay? On April 8th in Cusco, away from home. The next match is against Fluminense in the Brasileirão, all right? On the 12th, okay? Beleza? So, we're bringing you a lot of information here. Here's some news. Flamengo is renewing an important sponsorship deal. Check this out. Flamengo renewed the contract with BRT until 2027. Man, this is really important news because it's a lot of money, right? It's a really good amount of money, okay? It's a lot of money, right? So look, Mauro César Pereira, reported that the renewal with BRB runs through March 2027 and involves a total of 42.6 million reais. That's a lot of money for Flamengo. 37 million from GAC, now 42.6 from BRB. The new contract structure brings significant changes. The brand displayed on the uniform will no longer be BRB and will switch to Nação under a licensing model. This change is part of the club's strategy to mitigate image risks, especially considering the bank's financial situation and the possible impacts on Flamengo's reputation. To provide greater financial security, part of the contract amount will be paid in advance, which helps reduce the risks associated with the partnership. This change reflects Flamengo's commitment to maintaining solid financial management even in times of uncertainty. Okay, so instead of BRB, it will display Nação, all right? All because of that issue that happened with Banco Master, that whole thing. So Flamengo is trying to fix the situation so it doesn't stay like that, okay? Also to avoid damaging their image, right? The management is concerned about that. Very important, please follow, like, and share on all platforms on YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video. Greetings to red and black fans. This is Flamengo. Thanks.